What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here. Hope you guys are having a great day. And today I'm going to be answering a question that I've been getting a lot ever since I dropped the 0 to 10K a day new CBO strategy video. People have been wondering, have I done it with other stores since? How does it work? Is it still the same? And my quick answer to that is I'm still doing it. I've done it on many stores since that one, taking a few to actually 10K a day in similar fashion like the one that I'll show you today. The only thing is I do it a little bit differently now. When I first did it with that store in the case study that I did, it was kind of like, that was the second store that I ever used it on. So it was still kind of in development. I wasn't like 100% certain with what I was doing. I was still learning, throughout the method, which was, I knew what I was doing, but I was still learning about that specific method. So I feel like I have things down pretty good by now. I have certain rules that I follow and stuff, but I want to kind of walk you through the progression through this store that I have pulled up on my screen right now. I want to walk you through the progression from, cold traffic to the first CBO, and then where we are right now, which we have 7 CBOs and we just started lookalikes. So it's been good progression. We've done about 300,000 in sales. It's been a couple months, so similar results. Actually, I think it might be a little bit better than the 0 to 10K a day results. We are in the ads manager right now looking at the campaign level. I'm going to keep it on the campaign level because I don't want to have to hide too much of the different ad sets that we're targeting and stuff. So I'm just going to keep it here. Hopefully you can see there's no filters. Everything is pretty much active right now. I'm pretty sure we haven't even turned off a single campaign yet. So it's on lifetime, so lifetime of the ad account, so this is including all the testing that we did before this. So I'm going to kind of walk you through. You can see by the campaign names kind of what they are. Let me start by down here. So these 3 campaigns right here, these are all cold traffic, just interest, normal budget. These are the launch campaigns pretty much. So we started with these 2 campaigns right here. One of them is at a $15 a day budget and one of them is at a $20 a day budget. And then the third campaign is kind of just like a relaunch per se, just to get more ad sets that are making sales. Now these are what we started with. It was pretty simple because the cost of purchase is so low to where getting into CBOs was kind of a quicker process. So normally with CBOs what I like to do is I like to wait until I have 5 ad sets with 10 or more sales, or like if it's 9 or 10, that's fine too. I just like to see those ad sets being really consistent before moving into CBOs and pushing a higher budget with them. So normally what I'll do is I'll do these first few campaigns. I'll just keep on creating them in the first couple weeks of actually running the product. And basically the goal here is just to get a bunch of ad sets that are consistent, right? So I don't care about ad sets that have like 3 or 4 sales. I'm looking for ad sets that are consistent over time and also profitable. Like that's important as well. If it's over a 4 ROAS and you have 5 ad sets with 10 sales or more, the CBO is like almost guaranteed to work. Anything below that, like if it's a 3 ROAS and you have like 7 sales, it's kind of a shoot in the dark. But I like to play it safe and wait until I have those 5 ad sets with 10 or more sales at a 4 or over ROAS. Just so that when I do the CBO, it's almost a guarantee that it's going to work. And I just figured that out through experience. Like I've done a few CBOs in the past, and the only ones that have ever popped off, like 5+ ROAS, are ones that have ad sets that have over 10 sales with a good ROAS. So that's the beginning steps. Just like the 0 to 10K a day video that I did, we did the same exact thing. We launched the very first campaign. I think we were doing $10 or $15 budgets. And then we duplicated it, made like a relaunch just to get more ad sets going, and to prove that this is something that's going to work over multiple campaigns. And then we waited until we had enough sales, and then we did the CBOs. So moving into the CBOs, there's a couple of things that I did differently. For the most part, it's mostly the same. So you can see here, we made the first CBO and this actually crushed it. Like I think the first few days were amazing. Like this is when I knew that this store was going to scale really, really well. Like if you make the first CBO and it does good, that's a great sign. If you make the second CBO, which is right here, and it does good, that's even better because that means you'll be able to replicate the CBOs themselves. So let me explain here for a second. So usually what I do is I'll take the top 5 ad sets that have 10 or more sales, duplicate them, the top 5 that have 10 or more sales, duplicate them into a new campaign, and make a CBO at $100 a day. So that's what this is right here. And then basically what I do is I wait 5 to 7 days to kind of let the campaign balance out. Like you'll notice when you make new CBOs, for the first like 3 or 4 days, it'll be like up and down and up and down and up and down. So I like to give it some time so that it can average out, and I want to see like the number, the average ROAS throughout those good and bad days. You know, what's the balance point? And plus, I like to let it average out because I noticed that while it's doing that up and down thing, it also messes with the other campaigns. So this is why I wait 5 to 7 days, just because I like to not constantly be messing with things. So I'll create something new, like the new CBO, and then I'll leave it, and things will get messed with. Like you'll see your stats on your campaigns going up and down day by day, but after like 4 or 5 days, it usually balances out and everything starts running normal again. So after everything starts running normal again, I'll come in and I'll create the second campaign, which like I said, is usually 5 to 6 days, like 5 to 7 days. In the beginning, I might wait 7 days just to be extra careful. But what I'll do is I'll take that 100, duplicate it, and double the budget and make it 200. This is something that works. Like if your $100 CBO is doing really, really well for like a week, then you should definitely duplicate it and try it at 200. In the 0 to 10K a day video, my step that I showed after this point was actually duplicating the 200 and making it 400. I chose not to do this with this store, and I don't really do $400 a day CBOs anymore. Mainly because I find them to be really risky, and I see that they start dying out quicker than all of the other CBOs do, which could affect the performance. You know, because if something dies out, then it could affect the performance of the other campaigns. So we decided it was just safer to, instead of taking the 200 and multiplying it to 400, to go and find 5 other ad sets, like 5 completely new ad sets, which is this campaign right here. So 5 completely new ad sets that had 10 or more sales, and make a second CBO with 5 different ad sets. So this is our second top 5 CBO. We did it at $100 a day, which is kind of the starting point for me, and it popped off once again. The $100 a day CBOs do really well, and it's mainly because in the background we were making a new ad set every single day, so we always had new winning ad sets or new winning interest coming in. So basically all that I did was just rinse and repeat that, you know, what I did last time, which was just taking the 100, waiting about a week, and then duplicating it and making it 200, and you know, to nobody's surprise, it worked again, because you know, that's just kind of how it is. Like once something works, usually it'll work again. So what we did after this, you know, we basically have 2 top 5 CBOs at this point. One of them is 5 ad sets and the other one is 5 other ad sets. So we hit $200 a day. We still decided not to go to 400, like I said, mainly because it's such a jump in spend and they usually die out quicker than others, so I don't really like doing them that much. And that's definitely a lesson that I learned with the 0 to 10K a day store, and also the store that I did it on before that, was that the higher the budget, the more sort of risky it was, and it was harder to get it to average out better. Because a good day and a bad day and a good day and a bad day, the pattern would just be a little bit different. So I think at this point, we decided not to take 5 new ad sets, and we actually decided to take, I think what we did was we selected the top 5 1 at 100, and we selected the top 5 number 2 at 100, and we took the top 5 out of those 2 CBOs. So we're basically taking the top 5 of our top 5s, right? If that makes sense. And that's what this was, and that's why the title is Top 5, Top 5. And that worked really well as well. I mean, not as good. It doesn't look as good right now because things have been kind of slowing down a little bit. But it worked really well when we first did it. You could see 4.6 ROAS. And then we basically did the same exact thing and made it $200 a day. Now this is around the point when I started to notice things slowing down a bit. I think this one was at like a 4 ROAS when we first launched it, which usually when we launch something for the first time, it slaps at like a 5 ROAS at least. So this hitting 4, you know, between 3 and 4 was kind of like, you know, like I kind of see things going in the wrong direction here a little bit. But we decided to keep on going. And I think we made a new top 5. So this is 5 new ad sets again, but this is like number 3. So this is the 3rd different top 5 that we made with 5 different ad sets. And you can see that it's at a 3 ROAS. And 3 ROAS is not good for this account. Like maybe for your account it's really, really good, but for us, you know, you can see that we're hitting, you know, 4.5, 5, 6 ROAS at the time. It's kind of going down a bit now, but this is definitely a huge red flag. And to me, this basically means, okay, it's time to switch up the step. See, with cold interest worldwide, you know, stuff like that, it only lasts for so long, right? Like we've been doing it for 7 CBOs and 3 cold traffic campaigns. I think we're at like 200K in sales by this point. Probably a little bit more, probably like 250 around there. At this point, we decided to just go straight into lookalikes because we kind of need something to like re-spark it, like re-bring excitement into the ad account, you know, something new, right? And we haven't done lookalikes yet. We haven't done any of that, so we decided to just launch lookalikes. And this is kind of the point where things start slowing down a bit, but this is the transition from, you know, just being a quick scale into being a long-term thing. So this is the transition we're trying to make right now. Interest targeting is great, right? I love interest targeting, but the downside of interest targeting is once you spend so much money, it stops. It's almost like the hype dies down. And there's multiple things that you can do to stop this from happening, like testing new creatives, using different budgets, different audiences, you know, all that stuff. But you know, as a blanket statement, interests eventually die down and the hype kind of dies out. So then you're left with 2 things. You can either do lookalikes, or you can try to capitalize off of retargeting. But one thing that I really, really want to do is move into lookalikes at this point, because lookalikes, in my opinion, are really good if used correctly, because we're gonna start basically from day 1 again, right? So down here is just normal budgets. You know, these 3 campaigns are just normal budgets. So we're gonna try to build this foundation again, except this time we're gonna do it with lookalikes and not interests. And the reason why I say that this is a long-term move is because lookalikes are a lot more consistent. It's a lot less volatile. Like it's more of a 3 or 4 month scale rather than a 2-month scale. When you compare it to cold interest, lookalikes just last a little bit longer. And plus, there's just in lookalikes alone, just rolling off my tongue, there's 40 different ad sets that you can make. You know, 40 different audiences just between page view all the way up to purchase for each step of the process. So there's a lot more ad sets that you can make. There's a lot of variants, like you could do different time frames, different locations, you know, all that stuff. And then on top of that, you can do different creatives. So the direction I see this store going moving forward is, and you can see right here, we started add to cart lookalikes, and it's not looking that good right now. We only got 1 sale, but that's fine. I mean, it's part of the game. Like we just did the website visitors lookalikes, and they popped off. So maybe add to cart won't work. Maybe it will. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But this store is definitely going in the direction of the interest is going to start dying out. Like all these CBOs right here, they're going to start slowing down. We're going to see the ROAS be dropping a little bit. You know, not by a lot, but the average of the cold traffic might turn into like 3.5 to 4, and what's going to happen is our 5 to 6 ROAS is now going to be coming from lookalikes. So right now we're just leaving all these on just to have the momentum, to like carry over the momentum from the interest to the lookalikes. And then once we have the lookalikes popping, these guys will probably just die off, and then but by that point the goal is just to have a bunch of lookalike, you know, normal budgets and lookalike CBOs popping off just like this. So hopefully we can get to that point, and hopefully you learned a bit about my CBO strategy. I normally only do this with stores that get to a point where they're hitting like 3 and up ROAS, and you can get 5 ad sets with 10 sales. There's other ways to scale other than this, but this is primarily the method that I've been using because it's so effective. We've been able to take this store from you know, essentially nothing to around 10K a day. By the way, hitting 10K days with only a $1,500 ad spend, because a lot of the sales didn't track on the Facebook, and there were sales coming from SEO as well. But this method is super effective. That's why I continue to use it. But you know, things are changing. It's not exactly the same as when they were with the 0 to 10K a day video that I made, but you know, we're still making it work, and I'm looking forward to using this method in the future. I hope this helped you out, guys, and I hope you're having a good day. But I'll see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.